You can get great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Christmas is over, and you had a budget for those Christmas gifts, but let's just say you went over. In fact, nearly two-thirds admit some of that is because of impulse purchases, and unfortunately, roughly 1 in every 3 consumers say they regret overspending during the holidays. So joining us this morning is Stephanie Fierro, Senior Counsel of the Fruitkin Law Firm, with tips on avoiding that debt turnover. Now, how much money typically do people spend?
People spend, on average, about $1,000 for the average American family. About 62% of Americans admit to putting some or all of that on credit cards. So that's really where the trouble comes in, because now you've got this spending that's going to haunt you for a little while, definitely into the new year. So we want to figure out ways to deal with that.
What is the easiest way to knock that down? Again, you have to understand you got to have money that pays for food and such for the kids and such on table, but you got this debt now.
Yeah, there are some really clever ideas, though, to address this issue. Okay. I mean, budgeting can go a really long way, and we're all kind of accustomed to blowing the budget a little bit, but now's the time to really consider some really clever ways to fix it. So, for example, the impulse buys that maybe were the one for you, one for me kind of purchase, if you still have the tag on it, consider bringing it back. Maybe you don't really need it, and that could help knock off some of that debt by getting rid of it entirely.
That's a good idea, yeah.
The other thing is, we've probably all experienced getting a gift card that maybe isn't exactly what we would have used. There are ways to exchange or cash those in. There are actually some locations in grocery stores and things where you can actually just put them into a machine and get cash back.
And you get the money back?
You can get cash back. It might not be full value, but at least you're going to use it. And then the other way is, eat through the food that's in your house. A lot of us have pantries or dry goods that we kind of keep and store. Now would be a good time to maybe save a couple of $100s a month at the grocery store by eating through the stuff that we already have at home.
Ideally, the money you spent for Christmas, how long should it take to pay it off?
If you can get it paid off in a month or 2, that would be great.
That'd be amazing.
But if it takes you a year, that's probably still fine. But consider all those interest charges. Maybe now is actually a good time to look at the possibility of transferring those balances. You know, think about the ones, because a lot of store cards, they'll offer account on the purchase when you open the card, but then they've got a really high interest rate. So now's a really good time to evaluate, can you transfer those balances and maybe get an interest-free period by transferring the balance?
What's your advice on how to eliminate that debt per card? Do you bring out all your cards, kind of look at which one has the highest percentage, or do you look at which one has maybe the lowest amount on it and then start working?
Well, the nice thing about looking at the lowest amount on it is the feeling of accomplishment, right? If you can get one knocked out, it can really help build your confidence and make sure that you can kind of keep that trend going. But obviously, the ones with the higher interest rates, they're just going to really keep chewing through your budget. So you've got to look at how many of these cards you really have and what is really manageable for you. Come up with a budget for where you can actually save the money that you're going to apply. But most importantly, you really can't ignore this debt. It will not go away by just ignoring it. So you really have to work at making sure you're paying these things down. You can also look at perhaps if you get stuck or you find yourself in a little bit of trouble and you're getting behind, again, don't ignore it. A lot of these companies will work with you so long as you maintain communication with them.
Got it. Yeah, don't just ignore those bills coming, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
Stephanie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you joining us on this
Thanks
Saturday
for having
morning.
me.
Yeah. All right, we're going to send it out to Kim and Stephanie.